What is up, everybody? Welcome to my AIM journey. My name is Practicing, and the goal of this series is to improve my aim. I'll be judging this based off of KovaaK scores as well as my performance in other games. This video is going to consist of an intro, some tests, and a analysis at the end. The intro, which is just going to mainly be me talking, which you get to hear right now, and kind of how my progression is going, where this is the first video that does not exist yet. But that'll be to come. And then the second part, which is tests, is just going to be kind of my gameplay and my thoughts as I'm playing. And then finally, it's going to go into the analysis. So that section is going to be a little bit more in depth on how I'm going to improve, what I'm going to change, as well as going into what other content creators work on, as well as other AIM specialists. So that's enough of me talking. Let's get into some benchmarks. Alrighty guys, so getting into the tests. So I wanted it to be pretty fair, so I started with a warm-up. As you'll see, I'll throw up the scenarios on the screen. It was basically clicking some big squares, some following a big target, and then following a big circle around. So nothing too intense there, just to get my wrist warm. And if you want to do any of those maps, at the bottom of the screen it says what they are, and you can just search that in KovaaK's. So basically how we're going to be setting up these benchmarks is we're going to be going off the Voltaic benchmarks for Intermediate Season 4. I've been doing the KovaaK's benchmarks, but I'm pretty close to finishing those, and there's not a whole lot left to be doing there. So that's why I'm switching to Voltaic. Basically this video is going to be setting the benchmark for all of the Voltaic scenarios. So let's get into that. Alrighty guys, so hopping into the clicking scenario kind of group, it covers the first 6 scenarios. This happens to be actually my best group of them all. All of my scores are platinum and above, and then with arc strafe being diamond, which is pretty good. Obviously we're trying to get them well past these scores, but that's where they're starting at right now, which is nice. Some things that I can realize kind of just from looking at the clips, definitely the speed to target needs to be kind of better. I've found that when I'm aiming, increasing the speed kind of increases the tension in my wrist, which then leads me to get kind of tired quicker, as well as shakier aim, which is something that needs to get improved. Something else that I found from kind of reviewing it was the overflicking. A lot of the times I'm trying to go quick to the target, and it's causing me to go past and then have to come back, which I'll get into why that's bad later on in the analysis. And then also there's a lot of shakiness in my aim, as maybe I could have gone slower. I kind of just did scenario after scenario after scenario, but when I was trying to do kind of these precise shots, it caused my aim to be very shaky. So that's a lot of the stuff that I think I can kind of just initially see from these reviews, but I think generally clicking is in a pretty good spot in compared to the next kind of groups. Alrighty, hopping into the second kind of group of Voltaic, which is tracking. This is my worst by far. Of these 6 groups, I have 3 that are unranked, 2 that are plat, and then magically out of nowhere, 1 is Jade rank, which is basically 2 ranks higher than plat. So I guess that one we're doing good in, but a lot of the stuff that I realize here, or can kind of notice, my aim's quite shaky. I'm having problems kind of following the targets a lot. As well as I can't really read where the targets are going very well. A lot of the times I'll be kind of bouncing back and forth guessing, which isn't great. So that's going to be a big focus for my next video, kind of improving these scores. And then the last part, kind of still going off of just, I went through the clicking and then I went straight to this. I didn't change my sensitivity at all. I just kept it the same. So that could have definitely played a role where the sensitivity could have been too high and affecting me in that way. That's kind of all I got for this section. I also really suck at precise orb intermediate. This is the one where the ball kind of jumps up in the air. I miss like every single shot, so we're going to have to work on that. Alrighty, so checking out this last group of voltaic, I guess the last group, which is switching. There's a lot of the same issues as before, but at least in this column I have 3 plats and 1 unranked, which hopefully we can get that unranked up into a rank soon. But yeah, as I was kind of saying before, it has a lot of the problems as the other ones. There's a lot of shakiness. I'm kind of over flicking a lot, which could definitely be the sense. I think if I lower that, I could do better. And then also another thing I'm noticing as I'm looking is kind of the grouping of targets. I'm not really picking a good kind of pathing. This is something more I'll go into in the analysis, but when you're kind of aiming at targets, you want to keep a good route, and I don't seem to be doing that when I'm tracking. I'm getting too focused in on one target. So yeah. Alright, let's move on to the conclusion, or the analysis. Alrighty, so welcome to the analysis section of the video. I don't know how in-depth I'm really going to get on this one. I don't think we're going to be pulling out any other people's videos, as there's not too much to kind of delve into here. Some of it really just pertains more to playing those scenarios more and getting a little bit more of a grasp. But when we look at where I'm really losing here is kind of the tracking, and I gotta step those scores up. So definitely an area that needs to be worked on is mouse sensitivity. I gotta find a sensitivity that I'm able to use comfortably for those scenarios where I'm not gonna have as shaky aim trying to follow targets. A big thing with that is trying to switch from mainly using your wrist as an aiming tool to using more of your forearm, and usually that's done by picking a sensitivity that's a bit slower, so that it forces you to kind of do bigger strokes with your arm, which is good. So that'll be a good change, and that should hopefully eliminate some of the shakiness that is seen throughout that kind of section of the gameplay. Another good thing to get better is reading, is what people call it kind of in the Kovacs. Is basically being able to tell where a target's going and kind of how much you need to correct. So improving that would be very good, and that's done by playing more scenarios, obviously, but also playing harder scenarios with more switching and movement, so that you can kind of get better at realizing where the target's going and then making those micro corrections so that you're able to stay more on target. Looking at the rest, I mean, I think that's going to echo into tracking and help there, but also trying to minimize the kind of over-aiming, over-flicking, as that slows you down every time you do it, because you correct over your target and you have to correct back, as opposed to if you flick to your target and stop a little bit before, it's easier to keep moving that direction a little bit more than fully readjusting and moving back. So that's what I'm going to focus on up until the next video. I don't know how often I'm going to be posting these, hopefully maybe once a week. And hopefully by then I will be able to increase those scores in tracking. I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, please, it'd be awesome if you gave me a like or a subscribe. Thank you very much.